Hey guys, welcome to Neat Movie News. My name is Dean Thomas.
His name is Dean. We like Dean.
And finally opening up in a theater near me because it's such a small movie, it was in such limited release, but it was finally in a theater near me, is the movie Moonlight.
Try to forget all those times.
At some point, you gotta decide for yourself who you gonna be. Can't let nobody make that decision for you.
You gonna tell him why the other boys kick his ass all the time?
This is a movie that I hadn't heard much about because it's such a small film, but everything I had heard was just tremendous praise over and over and over again. Now, the basic plot of Moonlight is it's broken up into three sections more or less. You follow the character of Sharon from when he's about 10 years old. That's just a guess, but he's about that age. Then you fast forward to him in high school, and then you fast forward to him probably in his mid to late 20s or so. So this movie kind of breaks up and follows Chiron's life through those periods of his life, and obviously it starts from him at the youngest, but literally as this movie began and you see Chiron as this little kid, and they call him little because he's smaller than the rest of the kids, I instantly cared about his character. I don't know what it was, but it was like instantly, because I did not know what this movie was, really. I decided I wasn't going to even watch the trailer for it, so I really had no idea what to expect, but instantly I was connected with this character, and I was fully invested in him. And the basic story is as you follow this kid through his life, and he's a kid that grows up with his mom who really doesn't raise him. So his whole life he's forced to raise himself. He's become very independent, but he's also kind of been shut away from the world. He's a very shy kid, and a lot of that comes through because as he figures out throughout his life, he is gay. And the thing is, he is not comfortable with that. He is never really comfortable with his own skin, and he doesn't really know how to feel about it. Throughout the entire journey of the movie, you see him dealing with those things and wrestling with it, and you see how kids treated him when he was really young and as he got into high school, where he still really wasn't sure who he was, but other kids treated him as such, and it really kind of made him kind of try to bury it and shut it away, and he felt ashamed of it. And that's what this movie does really, really well. It's got such a strong message, but it never hammers you over the head of it. It just lets you follow the character of Chiron through this journey that he goes on and all these experiences he has in his life, and you see from one stage of his life to the next why he evolved into the person he is now as he's older. The performances are incredible in this movie. Every single one of them, everyone that plays Chiron, all the little kids, all the kids that and the adults that play Kevin, who was one of his high school friends. Naomi Harris plays his mom, and it's such a different role because she's a drug addict who really does not have anything going for her in her life, and it was hard to get used to her for a while because she was such a dramatic change from what you see her normally doing, and she was talking in such a strange accent and dialect that it was kind of very hard to get into at first. I think she did a very good job, but the character was just so different from what I'm used to seeing her in that it kind of took me out of it. But the standout of this movie, other than the three actors who play Chiron to me, was Mahershala Ali, who you probably most notably know from right now from Luke Cage. He played Cottonmouth. This guy is going to have a huge career ahead of him. He steals every scene he's in. And I don't consider this a spoiler, but he's only in the first third or so of the movie when Chiron is about a 10-year-old kid, because he kind of plays this mentor who kind of takes him in, and Ali's character Juan is actually a Cuban-born. The movie takes place in Miami. He was Cuban born and he's now a drug dealer on the streets. And that's what the other thing I appreciated about this movie is it in no way glorified the use of drug dealers or anything like that. It just simply played it as though it's a common thing in this world. It's just the way the world works. And you can see that even the character of Juan isn't really proud of what he's doing, but it's the only option he really has. And every time he's on screen, he has got such a presence. You were just drawn to him. I wanted to see him in the movie more than he truly was, but it did make sense for his character to kind of show up at that part of his life to really influence Chiron, and then see how he evolved as the later stages of his life go. And through every stage of that life, I was fully invested. Where I think you could have led to problems of new actors coming in to play these new characters, and maybe you didn't connect with that actor or you didn't like where that particular part of the story was at, but I liked every single one of them. But I think the real star here is because while all the actors are great in this movie, they're all only in it about a third or even less. But every but the biggest thing for me of this movie was the director Barry Jenkins, who I've never heard of. This might be his first feature film. I'm not sure, but this guy knows how to direct a movie. His shot selections are incredible. They make the movie feel very personal. Almost every single shot is either eye level or lower, which really puts you on the streets, really puts you with these characters. You feel like you're there with them and you're really in this environment. He really paints that picture incredibly well. He also lets scenes breathe. He's not quick cutting back and forth here and there. There's a lot of just long takes where the camera just pans or it rotates and weaves through these characters. There's a couple of shots, especially early on in the movie, where the camera will just weave through the scene over and over for a good minute or two without breaking. And it's just this one continuous take of really incredible, almost choreography of where the camera is going to be moving and how these actors work within the space where the camera's at. He also has got a couple of shots where the camera just spins in a 360-degree motion and it really just covers the entire environment you're in. And it's really something to watch and really engages you and really puts you in the setting that the movie takes place in. So I think the real star of this movie is Barry Jenkins. And I really cannot recommend this movie enough for people. Now, maybe it was because I went to a 10 a.m. showing on a Wednesday, but for the first time in my life, I was in the theater alone. I was the only person in the theater, and that's almost a tragedy because this movie needs to be seen by a lot more people. So I hope anyone that listens to this review runs out if this movie's playing in a theater near them and goes and sees it, because this movie, I would be willing to bet you, will be nominated for Best Picture. It is that kind of material. It's done so well. It's a very powerful movie with a very strong message, and I really would like to see Barry Jenkins nominated for Best Director, because what he did with this movie between shot selection, the way he directed the actors, so that every time you jumped these periods of time, each new actor still felt like the exact same character that you had seen previously in a younger time in the story. So I think Barry Jenkins is a director to definitely watch out for, and I really think he deserves a Best Director nomination at the Oscars this year. And as I said, I think this movie will get nominated for Best Picture because it is that strong of a movie that really should be seen by a lot of people. So when I score this thing, I'm going extremely high. As I said, there's a couple things here and there where I just didn't quite connect with the character or the performance immediately, or I wish a character was in it slightly more, and that's the only real complaint I have. Otherwise, I was fully into this movie, fully invested, and I'm going to give this movie a 98%. Moonlight is a fantastic movie, an incredibly personal story that is done incredibly well. It's so authentic. It never feels forced or you like they're trying to make this feel like an inner city part of Miami. No, it feels fully authentic. All the characters feel like real people, and I really like the music of this movie. It's kind of got that. It might be actual works of art. I'm not real rehearsed in that, but kind of that old-timey orchestral, almost Beethoven sort of feel to it. That's kind of got this quietness to it, and almost this quiet pain towards it, which is really what I think Chiron is going through, because he's very shy, he's within his own self, he's independent, he's very quiet, but there is that pain underneath of he's not truly comfortable with who he is as a person. So I thought the music really elevated this movie to an incredible level. Moonlight is a fantastic movie. Well, there you guys have it. That is my review of Moonlight. Make sure you're following me on Twitter at Neat Movie News for all the latest in the world of movies. Thank you guys so much for listening, and we will see you back here next time.